have a few questions, but we will address those after we talk about behind closed doors. All right. You know, we've been talking a lot about communication, isn't it? And everybody knows that if you want to have a good marriage, communication is key. But what is quality communication? It sounds so easy to say, but it's so difficult to do. Okay, let us see if we can unpack some more insights into how a husband and wife can communicate, especially behind closed doors. Okay, fights or arguments are normal. They happen in every home. If you never have a fight at home, I think something is wrong. Okay, let's see. The reason why we have fights is mainly because we are different. How many of you, okay, let me see, how many couples do we have here? Would you raise your hand? Oh, we have quite a few couples. Would all the couples come up? And we'll do an exercise. Come with your husband. All right. Okay, I'm going to flash some things up here, and I want you to go to the side, okay, to which it belongs. How many of you are morning people? How many of you are night people? You staying put there? Morning. Wow. Great compatibility. But look at how many couples are split. Right? This is night. You like to stay up late. Both of you? Stay up late and get up late. Wow, very compatible. Oh, I see. Even before the baby came? Long before? Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Now, how about this? Who are the ones who love to save money? And who are the ones who love to spend money? Both. Okay. You see how many couples are split on this one? Yeah. Are you happy about that? How about this? Eat at a restaurant, take away and eat at home. Eat at home. Okay, eat at home. Okay, eat at home. Okay, that's quite agreement here. Okay. All right. Look at all the scheduled people. And the people who love to go with the flow. Okay, it's quite, yeah, we have quite a few split couples here, right? Okay. Now, okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You can see that it's an individual preference that we have, isn't it? And sometimes these differences in preferences can cause a lot of problems. Today I want to share some wisdom from this couple. They are the Gottmans. And Dr. Gottman wanted to discover what is the truth about marriage. Why is it so tough? Why is it that some marriages are just fine and dandy, whereas some tick away like a time bomb? And how do we prevent marriage from going bad or rescue one that's already on the rocks? So, he designed this lab. Okay, it's called the Love Lab. Mark and Janice are in an apartment. They are newlyweds. They are having breakfast. And it looks like an ordinary scene of a newly married couple until you see that there are 3 video cameras bolted to the door, mics clipped to collars, and Holter monitors strapped around their chests from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is the Love Lab. And Gottman studied 3,000 couples. Now, there's a lot of couples, yeah? 3,000 couples. And he came to a lot of conclusions based on the data he collected from their heartbeat, their perspiration, their conversations as they sat in this apartment. And he tabulated them and came to some very interesting conclusions about marriage. And this is what Gottman says. The magic of love is based on trust, commitment, and calm. That means you are logical, you are thinking things through, you are calm and controlled. I think of it in the spiritual sense. Now, we also have trust, right? We believe in trust. We also believe in commitment. But we also believe in the last one, which Gottman calls calm, I say is self-control, which is a fruit of the Spirit. So if we have an interplay of these 3 factors, then we can have marriage success. Then we can have a well-developed love that's based on choice, that's based on commitment. And if we can come together in a mindset that says we are going to make this work, then the chances for success will be very high. You know, in 1 Thessalonians, what happened to my 1 Thessalonians? In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5:11, it says, encourage one another and build each other up. So this is how we build each other up. Sometimes when we are trying to work through a conflict or an issue, things quickly devolve into an unproductive argument. Once again, nothing gets resolved. But why does this keep happening throughout marriage? There may be actually barriers that are preventing us from letting down our defenses and being vulnerable so that we can truly hear each other. All right. If we are going to have a happier marriage, it's important to begin with me. Okay? Me. Because, look at this, 69% of the issues in a marriage are unresolvable. That is the truth. In other words, 69% of the things that you disagree with each other will never be resolved in your marriage. So accept that. And these are the things that will cause conflict. But remember, conflict, what did I say yesterday? Conflict is like manure, right? It stinks, but it will help you grow. And while these remain unresolved, it doesn't matter. We just learn to accept them for what they are and move on. Okay, Psalm 4:4 says, again, we saw this text before, right? It says, be angry but do not sin. Meditate within your heart on your bed and be still. And be still. But what do you think about? Are you focusing on the problem and you get angrier and angrier? Or do you stop yourself and try to reflect and ask, how have I contributed to the problem? Okay? How have I contributed to the problem? Now let's look at the self-reflection. Do I have negative patterns and habits I fall into when we both have a discussion? Do you find yourself saying, why aren't you like so-and-so? Or you're overthinking, meaning you are just being unreasonable, right? You think too much. Or sometimes, as this is quite typical of women, they say, everything is fine. Is it fine? Huh? It's not fine. The tone of voice tells you it's not fine. If I tell you, oh, everything is fine, that's different, right? But if I say, everything is fine, right? It shows that it is not fine. Or, you have done a great job yelling at the kids. It's supposed to be a compliment. You have done a great job just yelling at the kids. So when this happens, then your defenses are up, and then you rebut with a critical comment, and then now you're getting riled up. The other person is getting riled up, and the productive conversation just went out the window. Now, so we need to figure how to end these negative patterns. Later, I'll give you a simple formula that you can use. Do I need to make my partner feel safe? Now, when you are attacking, judging, pushing your point, you are making the other person feel very unsafe. So how do you make the other person feel safe? You could say something like, okay, we are both not in the right mind to discuss anything right now, but I really want to discuss this. Can we wait till later? Okay, I love you, but at this point, let's not talk about it yet. Okay, so delay it. Don't judge or attack. Or give me some time to think this through. I'm not ready to discuss it. Or you can show respect, women, for your men and say, I really appreciate you for working hard to support the family. But I'd like you to spend more time at home. Okay, you need to make your partner feel safe. So that, in other words, you're saying, yeah, we have a problem, but I still love you. I still appreciate you. And do I know what my triggers are? You know, all of us have triggers, isn't it? There are certain things that people say that will trigger us to shout, to yell, to behave in a way that is not very nice, right? Sometimes when you bring up like something that this person feels insecure about, or maybe a past hurt that happened, and some memory about their family of origin, then it becomes a trigger. So try to dig deeper and to find out. For example, a lot of men like to stonewall. Now, what is stonewall? They just keep quiet. They don't want to talk anymore. Just withdraw. Yep. Because they have suffered the trauma of a yelling parent before. Yeah? Whenever their mother or their father yells, they withdraw. And so when the wife's anger is escalating, then they do the same thing. They withdraw. You need to ask, what's your story? Understand the mindset and the mental attitude. And inside you, pray that God will reveal your deeper inner self so that you can better understand yourself. Check where your partner is coming from. Look underneath what you are fighting about. You know, it reminds me of something that I've struggled with for a long time, ever since we retired. You know, when we retired, my husband had a lot of time on his hands. And he loves to eat junk food. So we always have junk food. At first, we got a small box to put all his junk food in. Then the box got to be a bigger box. And the worst thing is, then my grandkids are eating from that box, you know? So I just was very upset about it. And whenever he goes out, he has to buy something back. Yeah? A smoothie, an avocado shake, ice cream, a treat for the grandkids. And I told him, I said, look, this is not healthy at all. And I wish you would stop doing it. But he won't listen. So I thought about it. What's the problem here? And as I was praying about it, one day God gave me some insight. I thought back to my in-laws. You know, whenever we go back, I visited my in-laws quite often during a period of our marriage. They're eating the whole day long. Yeah, they're Asians. So as soon as they get up, my mother-in-law will have some half-boiled eggs and we'll have breakfast. Then they'll go out to the market and they will eat again. And then they come back, they cook lunch and we eat again. And then about 2, 3 o'clock, there'll be some vendor that's crossing the road, you know, and they are shouting out or ringing a bell, and they'll stop and buy something and we eat again. And then evening, we will cook and eat again. And then supper, we will eat again. I couldn't stand all that eating. For me, I came from a family that had 3 square meals a day, and that's it. Nothing in between. Only once in a long while we have something in between. And my father-in-law loves to go out every day, and whenever he comes back, chances are he will have something to eat. and we will eat again. So, it's just like we have one big meal and we eat it the whole day long, non-stop. So my husband comes from that kind of family where love equals food. And so I began to understand, he loves his grandkids very much. And that's why he keeps providing them with food. And so in my own mind, I was reframing this. So I told him, one day I sat him down and I told him, I said, look, I think you are trying to show love to the grandkids by buying them all kinds of junk food. But it's not healthy. Can we have a kind of agreement between us? I say when you go out, once a week only, you can buy them something, okay? Once a week. Yeah, once a week. So now we have the rule set up. It has not worked very well. Sometimes he still forgets. But at least we have moved forward, right? Junk food is still there, but it's something I have to accept, right? I'm trying to educate them. And my grandkids, my grandson told me, oh, very good. I got a good grade for this subject. I forgot what subject it's called. It's about food. He said, it's because you taught me about food. So I was glad for that. So we just take the positives and we have to accept the negative parts. So now I just have to learn to accept. So whenever my husband comes back with bags in his hand, I say, shut up, and I walk away. Right? And hopefully he doesn't do it too often, but do it once a week. So I have to learn to let go. Okay, life is a series of give and take. So I have to learn to let go. So, what's next then? We need to acknowledge the struggle. Okay, we need to admit that we have problems with communication, and this is a skill that we need to keep improving on, and we have to tell each other what we want to work on in communicating better, and then start on the journey together. Make each other feel safe and respected. Okay, don't put the other person down. Strip away defenses. Share your self-reflection discoveries. What have you learned about yourself? Focus and listen to what is being said by using active listening. Okay, try to rehash what the other person said in your own words and say, is that what you mean? Instead of thinking of how you can defend yourself. Take turns to speak. Give the other person space and be respectful. Mind your body language. Yeah? Sometimes my eyes betray me. Right? My eyes tell a different story, and then my husband knows it. You're still mad. I know that. So mind your body language. Talk through personal hotspots. Okay, we give you a formula here. When you do this, I feel this. Right? So I tell my husband, when you keep buying junk food for the children, I feel very sad that you're destroying their health. Okay? So use this formula. When you do this, I feel. I'm focusing on my feelings now. I'm trying to communicate to you that this is how I feel. When you say, I work too much, I feel inadequate because right now I'm struggling to balance home and work. Try to be specific and keep the focus on explaining your feelings and why you feel that way instead of shooting your partner. Now, once you have mastered this technique, you have laid some groundwork, but it will take conscious effort because you might slide back to your old patterns. And the last, recognize the importance of timeout. Okay, when your heartbeat is too high, when you are feeling flushed, when you're going to have a heart attack, you need to stop. Okay? And be quiet. Take time out. Revisit it later. Now, there's a magic ratio here. For every one negative comment, you need 5 positive comments to heal the situation. Okay? So it's better not to let the negative comment out. Because once you let it out, you need to make 5 positive comments to heal the situation. And couples who are in very dangerous grounds has this 0.8. For every 0.8 negative statement, there's only 1 positive statement. So in other words, about 50% of their statements are negative. And Gottman found that this ratio shows that the couple is headed for divorce. Because there's no repair time. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give happiness, bad days give experience, worst days give lessons, and best days give memories. So, success behind closed doors is not chance, it's choice. From moment to moment. Sweat the small stuff. And every great love story is a never-ending conversation. That's what John and Julie Gottman say in their book. Close with this text, which comes from the Message Bible, which says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get out there and walk. Better yet, run on the road God called you to travel. I don't want any of you sitting around on your hands. I don't want anyone strolling off down some path that goes nowhere. And mark that you do this with humility and discipline, not in fits and starts, but steadily, pouring yourselves out for each other in acts of love, alert at noticing differences and quick at mending fences. That is the biblical injunction. Okay, do you feel that I answered your question? Yeah? However, I want to qualify in cases where there is abuse, okay, where there's physical abuse, verbal abuse, you need to seek help, okay, or sexual abuse. You should not be keeping quiet. In Australia, you can get the support for an abusive spouse. Okay, I have a few questions here that I'd like to answer